Hey guys, Roxy Sims here, and I have another speed build for you today. I'm building a cute little house with a secret underground bunker. In this build, I really wanted to play up the contrast of this super cute, adorable, quaint little house and this really dark, damp, dingy kind of underground bunker. I wanted there to be just such a big contrast between the two. I also wanted the outside of this house to be super normal, like almost too normal. I wanted it to really blend in with the neighborhood because if you look around this neighborhood, pretty much all the houses look the same or very similar to each other, and I really wanted it to just fit in and not like stand out in any huge way. On purpose. Like, I have this story in mind. I'm actually thinking about doing it as like a let's play. But the story I have in mind for it is that this couple, well, they're not a couple, they're just, a guy and a girl. They moved to StrangerVille because they go out looking for mysteries and looking for maybe ways that the government has tried covering up things. And so they come to this town and they want to buy a house that is just incredibly ordinary in every way, except that, in the dead of night, they start hauling off some dirt and you don't really know why. And they do it secretively, they don't just do it in front of everyone. But they start hauling off dirt because they have dug under the house and made a secret bunker. But they've basically bought this house so that they could hide in plain sight, be in the town, be around a lot of the town's people, so they can really get to know them. People can start to trust them and tell them all the secrets of the town. As I was building this house, I kept on thinking about the term incredibly normal, and it really reminded me of that episode of SpongeBob. Oh, I love this episode. It's whenever SpongeBob starts to become normal, and Squidward loves that, of course. But SpongeBob his corners start to go rounded, like he's rounded over, and then his spots start going away. And then he starts talking in a very normal manner. He's like, "Hi, how are ya? Hi, how are ya?" And he just keeps saying that over and over. And that's kind of what this reminded me of. And that was my inspiration for the normalness of this place. But as I was saying earlier about this house really blending into the neighborhood, I pretty much just took the same kind of architectural details that all the other houses have in this neighborhood. The same kind of roof details, very similar colors. Green is used a lot, yellow is used a lot. So I stuck with the kind of the feeling that was already in the neighborhood. And with the light yellow paint and everything's pretty bright and white and lots of windows and the sunflowers, it all just has a really happy feel in here. Makes me smile. I was really liking the cutesy feel of it. The houses in this neighborhood, they kind of remind me of shotgun houses. I don't know if you've ever heard of that term, but it's kind of an older style of house. And as you can see, I'm putting in some historical details and whatnot. But anyways, a shotgun house, I guess, it's a long, narrow house. It's not super long, but compared to the width of it, it is. And I guess the reason it was named that is basically you just shoot a shotgun through it and it'd go all the way to the back. So a small house, and that's what these houses reminded me of. They're a bit wider than, I guess, a traditional shotgun house, but they have that kind of style, and that's why I was just really going for an older house. So with that being an older way of building houses, I wanted to put a lot of the cool historical details into it. But if I'm being honest, pretty much every time that I build a house, I build an old historical house. I mean, I almost never build new houses. I don't know. It's probably because I want to live in an old house. The old architecture and just like the moldings and the beautiful doors with those awesome handles on the doors. I love that so much. And I really want to live in an older house for sure. But I live in a house that was built in 2005. So, no pretty historical details. So I'm just craving like what I don't have, I think my dream house would be a house that was built probably in the very early 1900s. I think that would be a dream of mine. But really, there are no houses that are that old in this area. Where I live, no. Definitely not. Like, I think, I don't know, maybe they weren't taken care of and they just didn't last. Or maybe just a lot of people hadn't settled here yet. I'm not sure. But you don't really get that old of a house here. You get like houses built in the 60s and 70s, which not the same at all. They start using like very cheap materials in that time period, and so yeah, I'm not digging those. I like the really old houses with the like all wood everything, and just things were built so well. Yeah, that's what I want. My dream house would also be kind of a smaller house. I really like small cottages, and yeah, that's my style. I'm definitely not one to want a mansion or anything. 'Cause I actually lived in a mansion for just like a year, and that's totally not what you think. I am not wealthy, nowhere near it at all. It was just like a fluke that I even got to live there. It was my old boss. She was moving out of state. She needed someone to live in her house because of insurance purposes. They needed someone to actually live in the house. And I needed somewhere to live. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And I like show up and it is an absolute mansion. It's 11,000 square feet. Humongous. Absolutely the biggest house I've ever been in. And I was like, wait, you want me to stay here? It was not exactly what I was expecting. And so I stayed in that for like I said, like a year. And I don't know, it's not my thing. I am glad to be living in a small home now. It's a lot more reasonable, a lot less to clean, a lot less scary. It's actually scary living in a big house. I don't like that. And it was positioned on like on top of a hill with not a lot of trees around it. So the wind was horrible. It was so windy being up on that hill. And so with the wind, the house would always make all these creaks and stuff. And, I was terrified for my life pretty much constantly. I'm like, wait, what was that? Oh, what was that noise? Constantly noises scaring me half to death. I also think I'm just particularly jumpy and paranoid about that kind of a thing, about like a home intruder. That is the scariest thing. And I think my mom actually made me this way. Okay, so anytime on TV they would have like, oh, here's how to defend yourself if someone tries taking you. She would sit me down and make me watch it. So I think I grew up constantly thinking someone was always trying out to get me. She did this to me. She made me this way. So yeah, I was way too much of a scaredy cat to live in that place. And it's funny, I went from living in that place to living in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. It was like the biggest difference in living situations that you could like possibly imagine. I found that really funny. Something else that I think is funny is that I actually had to pay more in rent on the tiny, tiny one-bedroom apartment than I did in the mansion. Because it was like a favor, kind of like her helping me out, me helping her out, so she didn't charge much. And so I paid, quite a bit more to live in this like shoebox apartment. So yeah, that's pretty funny. And quite frankly, probably 3 of the apartments that I lived in would fit in just the living room of the big house. No joke. Back to the build. I'm just doing a little bit more of the decorating in the house before we go down to the secret bunker area. I'm going for a very like designer look. That maybe not an interior designer did it, but they were definitely inspired by interior design, HGTV or something. Maybe they looked at a lot of magazines, to pick out what they wanted for their house. But anyways, I wanted to talk more about the bunker. So this is not a survivalist type of bunker. They do not believe the world is ending or anything like that. They made this bunker as a place to hold their investigation. So they use it they have a very science area. I figured one of them, the guy, he is the brain and the girl is the brawn. So like I said, he's the brain. He is a very scientist type of guy. He probably has some background in biology. He knows some about plants. He's maybe even got some like doctor skills going on. And the main room in this bunker is kind of like his office area in a way. It is where they hold a lot of their evidence, investigate things, theorize things, map out stuff, that kind of an area. That's just where they do their main investigating when they're not out in the town. She, like I said, is the brawn, so I needed to have definitely a workout area. She needs to remain very strong to, just be ready for anything that's going to happen in this place. So she needs a workout area. This definitely also has some elements of a survival type bunker. They're not prepared for a really long time to stay down in this bunker, but I did want to have some food storage, a bathroom, places to sleep, just in case. They prepare for everything is what I'm thinking. They're prepared for just in case something goes wrong and they have to stay down here for a while, that they will have most of the things that they need. I wanted it to feel like it was a bunker that was kind of made in a hurry and not going to, like, they're not meaning for it to be a permanent place that they stay. So my storyline for it is that they go around the country looking for mysteries. So I wanted the bunker to feel just, like something they put in themselves that's just a temporary fix for this investigation. And then once the investigation is done, then they'll leave and go investigate somewhere else. I figured, too, that they were trying to be very inconspicuous when they were doing this. They didn't want to, bring any attention upon themselves. So having big concrete trucks, bringing in tons of concrete to put for flooring in this place, yeah, that wouldn't work. So that it's all dirt floors and just, pieces of metal put up as the walls. Like I said, wanted it to feel very temporary. I also wanted it to be kind of obvious that they do these investigations kind of on their own. They're not really a part of like investigative groups or anything. They're just, they want to make a difference and they just rely on themselves. And so they've just done this. I feel like maybe they have like a tiny group of helpers, but, almost by themselves. And they want to make this difference because they were a part of a cover-up, a mystery when they were younger. So now they feel compelled to kind of stop this from happening to anyone else. Well, guys, we are pretty much finished just decorating a little bit of the backyard and then we're done. I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope to see you all again very soon. Bye, everybody.